Now, if you're really struggling with your driver and slicing, let's tie all this together, get it really organized in your head how you're going to do this, and then help you understand that if you're not doing something enough, the ball is going to tell you exactly what the problem is. So when you set up to this ball, the stance, or where you aim your feet, that should always be just about as straight at the target as you can get it. There's never a good reason to change that. The parts you can change just to practice. So recognize that this isn't really to hit the best shots. This is to teach you how to curve. And I'll give you an example here in just a second. So, starting with your hips turned relative to the target. So you see how my right leg is straighter and my left knee's flexed. That's the start of turning a lot, which was in one of the earlier videos. Couple that with pushing the shaft upward and forward, which is presetting the wrist bends that we talked about in the previous video as well. Turning both of your hands to the right as far as you can on the shaft, especially your right index finger, making sure that's underneath the club. Now, I'm sure if you're looking at that from the front view there, that doesn't look like what you see on the PGA Tour, and that's exactly the point. This is not meant to be your standard normal shot. It needs to be extreme so that you can stop slicing these things right now. If it looks really normal from your friends who'd stand right in front of you, you're not doing it enough. You need to take each one of those variables and continue to move them more closed and turn your hand more to the right. From here, you're set up to the ball pretty well. You might notice I've got this head cover on the ground. That's really there as an obstacle to help you recognize that if on the downswing you start to swing to the left too much, like all those nasty shots you've hit forever, you will smash right into that thing. It's going to help you recognize that. A lot of people put this down and it's just got a couple inch gap between the ball and the head cover on just the tiniest little angle. A lot of people put that down, stare at that and say, wow, I'm not supposed to hit that, and that's exactly right. You've never even visualized the angle that you want to swing this club into the ball with any sort of reality to not slice these things. So that should go down every single time until you're able to draw all these balls. So let's go through that one more time. Change your knee flex, preset some hip turn in there, raise the shaft up, turn both of your hands to the right. The most critical part of the backswing that we talked about was actually the direction of your hands. Make sure that moves inward enough on the way back. And then you're just going to punch this ball down the fairway where the club head itself doesn't even really get above your head. You can see how high that is. That's as far as I'm going to go. You'll also notice I'm not bending my wrists like the bunker shot. I'm not making a full follow through. I'm just stopping right there. All the work you need to get right is just done in that small little space. So take your address, make sure your feet are straight, turn your hips and shoulders closed, the shaft up and forward, grip to the right, and punch this ball and check out how much this curves to the left. You can see that ball starting really straight, dive bombing into the ground. That went exactly 180 yards. That is about 100 yards shorter than I would ever try to hit this club. But I'm trying to practice making sure I have the curve right. So when you can hit shots that look like that one you just saw, and you can do that 8, 9, 10 out of 10 times, then you're ready to set up in your normal routine. You've got most of the form that you need built into the swing then, and just stand up there and hit the shot like you would normally. All those start to bleed together and allow you to not swing too far out to in and start swinging in to out, drawing these balls. If you ever run into problems though, like your game just is falling apart, you're back into shambles and you're back into slicing the ball into the trees, this is the place to begin. And if you wanted to take it even a step further back, you can just make practice swings, whether it's in your office or in your home, with a tee, either put right into the carpet or just give yourself a spot that you're going to aim and just make your slow and short practice swings, practicing each one of those details. When you first start out, if you skip any of these steps, there's a pretty good chance you're still going to slice the ball. That's the problem. You've got to do each one of them very diligently and practice just punching these balls and getting the curve right before you're ever ready to start smashing these things. So practice just like that until every ball draws. When you can do that, start hitting full shots. If the draw goes away and you're back to slicing, get right back here and start doing this again. Okay, so now you know how to practice slicing. I'm going to tell you keep doing that for as long as you need to until the wheels get back on the train and you've got the ball curving to the left, hitting the fairways or hitting it even into the left rough. You should always come back to this practice regimen whenever you have a hard time with slicing. Now, to show you that this isn't like black magic or this doesn't work at all. We've got a real case study here that we could do hundreds and hundreds of different times, but I want to show you a student who stopped slicing in just one quick swing. Go ahead and check that one out next.